الله خدا خدا خدایا اللهم أدخل على أهل القبور السرور.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Now the main headlines. Activists criticize Saudi authorities for diverting the road passing near the graves of the infallible Imams in the Baqi' cemetery. Mass grave with 1,500 remains open in Iraq's Nineveh province. Ongoing Israeli incursion displaces nearly 1 million Palestinians from Rafah. And the world seriously falling short of essential health services target by 2025, the World Health Organization says. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Yunus Dawood and you're watching Shia Waves live from London, only on Imam Hussein TV 3. Activists and bloggers on social media platforms have widely criticized recent actions taken by Saudi authorities to redirect the road passing near the graves of the Imams alayhum salam and the honourable companions in the Baqi' cemetery. As per their statements, they consider this change to be a form of restriction on visitors to Baqi', altering the original route, thereby making visits to the Imams' graves more difficult and distant, and obstructing the view of the grave of Sayyidah al-Baneen alayhi salam. Many activists expressed their displeasure with this move, stating it adds to a series of measures aimed at reducing access to these sacred sites, adding that the change makes visiting the graves more challenging and increases difficulties faced by those wishing to perform these pilgrimages. Simultaneously, activists criticized the recent cultural activities in the kingdom, which includes organizing festivals and sports events, pointing out that such activities are not befitting a country that hosts the two holy mosques, Mecca and Medina, and the authorities should focus on preserving the sanctity of these places and facilitating the visits to these religious sites. They expressed that their hope that the Saudi authorities would reconsider these decisions to work to improve conditions for visitors instead of complicating them in a manner that respects religious sanctities and appreciates the spiritual sentiments of the Muslims worldwide. The Mass Graves Department in Iraq has begun the process of opening and exhuming the remains buried in pit of Alu Antar, known as Al-Hammam Pit, which was used by the terrorist organization ISIS as a site for executions and disposing of the victims' bodies. The Alu Antar pit is located on the outskirts of Tel Afar on the road of Al-Adiyah district, about 6 kilometers north of the district center. The operation to open the mass graves began yesterday, May of 28th, more than 10 years after more than 1,000 people were executed and the remains thrown into the pit. Liat Karam, the director of the Mass Graves Affairs and Protection Department at the Martyrs Foundation, stated during a press conference that this constitutes a heinous crime committed by ISIS terrorists and poses a significant challenge in the context of opening mass graves and identifying the victims. He confirmed that the first part of the operation is being carried out to an area of 20 to 30 square meters, with a depth ranging from 10 to 25 meters in cooperation with other entities, including the Forensic Medicine Department in Baghdad, security forces and civil defense, health directorate, and international organizations. According to investigations by the High Commission for Human Rights in Iraq, the Alu Antar pit contains remains of more than 1,000 Turkmen and Yazidi citizens who were executed by ISIS militants. The United Nations Agency for Palestinian Refugees, or the UNRWA, reported on Monday that in the past 3 weeks, nearly 1 million Palestinians have fled the city of Rafah in southern Gaza because of the ongoing Israeli military operation in the area. According to the UNRWA, prior to the state of the Israeli incursion on May the 6th, Rafah had been home and shelter to over 1.5 million Palestinians who had previously been displaced from other parts of the Gaza Strip. Due to the ongoing conflict, however, the agency warned that the mass exodus from Rafah is occurring with nowhere safe to go and amidst bombardment and lack of food and water, making it increasingly difficult to provide aid and protection to the displaced population. The Israeli army began expanding its incursion into Rafah on Tuesday, engaging in heavy shelling and bombing that has forced thousands of residents to flee westward towards Khan Yunis and other central Gaza areas. Despite a UN Security Council resolution calling for an immediate ceasefire, the Israeli offensive in Gaza has continued, resulting in the deaths of at least 36,050 Palestinians, the majority of whom are women and children, and leaving over 81,000 others injured since October. The International Court of Justice has accused Israel of genocide and ordered the country to ensure its forces do not commit further acts of genocide and provide humanitarian aid to civilians in the Gaza Strip. Let us remind our respective viewers of today's headlines. Activists criticized Saudi authorities for diverting road passing near the graves of the infallible Imams in the Holy Baqi cemetery. A mass grave with over 1,500 remains open in Iraq's Nineveh province. And an ongoing Israeli incursion displaces nearly 1 million Palestinians from Rafah. Also tonight, Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq al-Hussein al-Shirazi urges pilgrims to adhere to religious rulings and avoid disputes during Hajj. The World Health Organization has revealed that the world is only halfway to meeting its global target of extending essential health services to 1 billion more people without catastrophic out-of-pocket spending by 2025, an Anadolu agency have reported yesterday. More details in the following report.
In his annual address to the World Health Assembly, World Health Organization Director Dr. Tedros stated, while 585 million more people will gain coverage of essential health services by 2025, this falls short of the ambitious 1 billion goal set by the United Nations Public Health Agency. Although 30% of countries have made progress since 2000 on both service coverage and financial protection at the global level, we're going backwards on financial protection, Dr. Tedros said. He noted that a staggering 2 billion people still face financial hardship due to out-of-pocket health expenses. The World Health Organization chief highlighted that the organization's multifaceted response to 65 global health emergencies in 2023 included natural disasters, disease outbreaks, and armed conflicts in regions such as Turkey, Syria, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Ethiopia, Gaza, Haiti, Myanmar, Sudan, and Ukraine. Despite these challenges, Dr. Tedros pointed to some encouraging developments, such as the over 50 new commitments made by countries at the UN General Assembly to expand access to essential health services and improve financial protection. He also noted that tobacco use is declining globally, with 19 million fewer smokers worldwide compared to 2 years ago. Looking ahead, the World Health Organization chief identified climate change as perhaps the greatest threat to health of our time. He noted that COP28 climate conference in 2023 dedicated an entire day to health, with 149 countries signing a declaration on climate change and health, and over $1 billion pledged to address the health impacts of this global crisis. Turning to conflict areas, Tedros said health professionals from around the world have supported the deployment of 18 teams in Gaza, who have provided almost 400,000 consultations, performed more than 18,000 surgeries, and added more than 500 additional hospital beds. Reporting Arush Fasma for Shia Waves.
And now we'll continue with some shorter news. In preparation for the instructive and mourning ceremonies during the months of Muharram and Safar, the Imam Hussein Holy Shrine has launched its third annual forum for Husseini preachers and missionaries, titled The Husseini Pulpit, a Timeless School. Sheikh Karar al-Khafaji, head of the Religious Affairs Department, stated that the forum aims is to shed light on what should be presented to the Shia community, especially as we approach the months of Muharram and Safar, the months of preaching and public speaking. Al-Khafaji explained that the forum has a positive impact on society through the exchange of ideas among preachers about what is being discussed and what the community needs. He stressed that these forums develop a state of culture and increase awareness among individuals in this category, as they bring together experienced individuals, beginners, and those with diverse experiences in different communities. The forum included discussions on intensifying Husseini preaching and addressing the issues facing the community, highlighting the importance of developing the skills of preachers to make their preaching more impactful. At least 28 lives were tragically lost after a bus plunged into a ravine in Washuk, Balochistan, Pakistan on Wednesday. The accident occurred when a tyre of the vehicle was burst, causing the vehicle to careen into a hillside and then plummet into the ravine. Among the deceased were 3 women and 3 children, the source mentioned, and adding that the bus carrying 45 to 50 passengers was en route from Turbat to Quetta when the incident took place around 5 a.m. The Pakistani online newspaper noted that 28 were also injured, with 9 in critical conditions. Balochistan's chief minister expressed deep sorrow over the devastating loss of life and emphasized the need for improved road infrastructure to prevent such tragic accidents to happen in the future. A new analysis by the Save the Children has revealed an alarming rise in violent attacks on schools and education in Sudan, with the number of incidents increasing 4-fold since the start of the conflict in April of 2023. The report documents airstrikes on schools, torture and killings of teachers, sexual violence against students, and the occupation of educational facilities by armed groups. This has left the majority of Sudan's 22 million children out of school for over a year, plunging the country into the worst education crisis globally. Save the Children is calling on Sudanese and African leaders to urgently protect schools and ensure children can safely resume their education amid the ongoing conflict. Sudan is facing one of the largest unfolding crises globally. About 25 million people, or half of the country's population, need humanitarian assistance. According to a Reuters report released on Tuesday, figures from the German Federal Statistical Office indicate that the number of foreigners gaining German citizenship hit a record high in 2023. A total of 200,100 individuals from 157 different nationalities were granted German citizenships, marking a 19% increase from the previous year and the highest number since 2000 nationals from Syria, Turkey and Iraq, Romania and Afghanistan made up 56% of those acquiring citizenship. According to the government figures, more than 14% of people living in Germany do not have a German passport, representing around 12 million people. Of that number, about 5.3 million have been living in Germany for at least 10 years. Scientists have uncovered the existence of a potentially habitable Earth-sized exoplanet dubbed Gliese 12b. Located just 40 light-years away from Earth, this temperate world orbits a cool red dwarf star every 12.76 days, placing it squarely within the habitable of Goldilocks zone, where liquid water could potentially exist on the surface. Preliminary estimates suggest that Gliese 12b has a radius of 1.0 times that of Earth and an estimated surface temperature of 42 degrees Celsius. While the composition of atmosphere remains unknown, researchers plan to utilize the powerful telescopes like the James Webb Space Telescope to study this intriguing new exoplanet and assess its potential for supporting extraterrestrial life. The Supreme Religious Authority, Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq al-Hussein al-Shirazi, described the performance of Hajj pilgrimage as a great spiritual experience, advising the guests of Allah the Almighty to fully respect and take care of each other. In his speech on the occasion of the Hajj season, Grand Ayatollah Shirazi emphasized that performing the blessed Hajj is an immense spiritual experience that should not be missed and must be performed in the best possible manner. His Eminence also urged pilgrims to fully adhere to religious rulings and avoid disputes and other negative behaviors that could affect the atmosphere and the essence of the pilgrimage. He stressed the importance of providing comfort for fellow travelers and pilgrims in general, treating them well to ensure their safety and security, as well as respecting each other and safeguarding their rights. It should be mentioned that the Hajj mission affiliated to the office of Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq al-Hussein al-Shirazi is making significant efforts to serve pilgrims in the holy city of Medina and the holy city of Mecca. We have reached the end of today's Shia Waves. Let's remind our dear viewers of this evening's headlines. Activists criticized Saudi authorities for diverting road passing near the graves of the infallible Imams in the holy Baqi' cemetery. Mass grave with 1,500 remains open in Iraq's Nineveh province. Ongoing Israeli incursion displaces nearly 1 million Palestinians from Rafah. The world seriously falling short of essential health services target by 2025. And Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq al-Hussein Shirazi urges pilgrims to adhere to religious rulings and avoid disputes during the Hajj season. You can view the latest news on Shia Waves website, and you can send news of your city or country to be published on our news agency. Contact us at the numbers at the bottom of the screen. Thank you all for watching, and we pray to Allah the Almighty to hasten the reappearance of the Master of our time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
هالليلة القرآن إجا للدنيا صوت